I remember sitting in the back of that car on the way to the rehab. Staring out the window like I might spot a way out of the situation I just built for myself. Hands are trembling, my stomach twisted in knots, and my thoughts came in waves of panic and shame. Couldn't believe it come to this. I was terrified of sobriety, change, facing myself without a bottle or a pill in my hand. It was a knot in my chest I wouldn't let go. The regret I ever had buried was clawing its way back home. People I'd hurt, the chances they'd thrown away. The man I was. My mind erased the question. What if I fail? Well, what if I can't stay clean? Beneath all that noise, beneath the fear, the anxiety, that guilt, what if there's nothing left of me worth saving? There was a spark, faintest whisper of some ancient, something calling me home. I was lying in a hospital bed with a 0.40 blood alcohol content. That's the kind of number that I should have killed. Crashed my truck into a divider, scraped the whole side along the highway, and somehow, by the will of the Norns, I made it to safety. No one was hurt. I passed out on a friend's couch. One of the people at the house thought I was dead. I was breathing so shallow, heart rate so low. Then they called my lifelong friend. Just call him Silver. He's the only person to pick up the phone for me. And he was out with some of my brothers from our fraternity when he got that call. Everyone else, my family, my friends, they were done. I was broken, drunk, addicted, unemployed, now without a call. That ER visit was my wake-up call. I didn't go to rehab because I wanted to. I went because I had nowhere else left to go. After 28 days in a medically assisted detox, I transferred to a therapeutic community called the TC. It's tucked into the base of the Catskills Mountains, a little town called New Hyde Park along the Hudson River, where the Culinary Institute of America is. It was there I met a woman named Maura, a counselor who saw something in me before I could see it in myself. I was still limping through life, physically and emotionally. The pain from the motorcycle accident in 2011 made everything harder, and I was full of self-pity. But Maura, she didn't count on me. Instead, after some discussions, she handed me a used copy of the Poetic Edda and The Way of Fire and Ice. She knew I had a background with Norse Paganism, a bachelor's in history, a master's. She knew about my grandmother telling me the stories, things like that. I'd forgotten about that. She relit that fire. One day she invited me to a yoga workshop. I laughed at first, but I went. Within weeks I was moving again, lifting weights, shooting fucking ball, even running full pickup games with the other guys. I rediscovered my poetry, started writing graffiti again, power of creation. I got busy rebuilding myself. And for the first time, I prayed to Odin. Back then, my faith looked more like a Christian template with Norse names just slotted in there. Just change the name on the door. I didn't know what being heathen truly meant yet, but I just knew it felt right. And I loved the word. But there was daily structure, the packed schedule, the rehab, the accountability. It kept me focused. The real shift wasn't spiritual, it was internal. For the first time in my life, I started taking responsibility for my own actions. No more blaming the world, or waiting for someone to save me, or trying to lie my way out of it. I realized if I was going to fix this, well, it had to start with me. I leaned into recovery. I meditated, even though I had no fucking clue what I was doing. I started trying to help others in AA, sharing my story, listening to theirs. And yeah, stumbled hard. The loss of my mother due to COVID, the isolation and loneliness from the lockdown, the revelation I was cheated on for a year by a narcissistic ex who emotionally abused me, used the darkness I revealed to her, trying to be intimate as a weapon to control me. Emotional breakups triggered relapses. I had abandonment issues a mile away. Broken people try to heal each other. Never ends well. But each time I fell, I crawled back stronger. Through all the turmoil, I still clung to all my principles. I still felt like there was a bigger purpose for me. There's something powerful about purpose. Once I tapped into that idea, it wasn't just about staying sober, but about becoming the man I was always meant to be. I leveled up my life. My workouts weren't just physical, they were rituals. My writing wasn't just therapy, it was an invocation. The more I read, the more I studied, the deeper the rabbit hole got. The stories of the gods, the rituals, the world's view. It wasn't just mythology, it was a blueprint to me for how to live. By 2016, I had finished that first rehab and tasted what it meant to build something new. But I hadn't truly faced the pain that got me there. I cycled through toxic relationships, numbed my emotions instead of dealing with them. And eventually I relapsed again, hard. Over the next few years, I bounced in and out of facilities, half-heartedly seeking help. Never any real change. By the time I ended up in my 15th rehab, 15, I was more spiritually bankrupt than ever before. Then something strange happened. One evening, in a moment of desperation, I did something I had never done before. Through tears and the breakdown of decades of unpacked emotional baggage, I called out to the earth, uncontrollably sobbing. Never forget that. Scream. Give me a fucking sign. Show me that I'm on the right path. I went outside to smoke a cigarette. The air was heavy. My thoughts were darker than usual. And then I saw him, a man in a hood, standing just a few feet away watching me. Around his neck was a pendant I'd never seen before. It looked like an axe. He approached me for a light to a cigarette. We had a small verbal exchange. He said to me out loud what we talked about in Norse law. Sure do know a lot about this, son. Another patient called my name and asked for a light. I turned, handed him my cigarette. He lit his cigarette off mine. And when I turned back, the hooded stranger was gone. That wasn't eerie enough. A night or two later, a cat appeared out of nowhere. It was rubbing up on my leg. I was pregnant, and somebody said, bro, that cat has only one eye. I playfully called it Odin, and it let out a yowl that was like the house cat equivalent of Simba taking his place on Pride Rock. That whole encounter left me rattled. I didn't really know what to make of it. The next day, I was walking through the facility's courtyard, still thinking about that moment. Standing smoking a cigarette, and out of the crowd, out of nowhere, that same hooded man emerged. He was like a shadow with an intent. He walked straight towards me, and he just said, here, this is yours. You do so much for the community. I looked down, I was holding a pendant. I said, let me give you something, gift for gift. I turned to show my boy Colby. I was like, hey, look, this is the necklace I told you about. And when I turned back again, the guy was gone like a fart in the wind. Never saw him, never heard from him. Never saw him again at that. I never saw him in any groups, only twice in the same spot. The craziest thing about this encounter was that I went looking for him, and not one staff member knew who he was. Nobody. Now we're in the middle of the mountains of rural Pennsylvania, in a semi-secure drug and alcohol rehab, and a fucking one-night house cat, and a bearded stranger that hands me an axe, shows up out of nowhere. Pretty strange. I got a whole entire video about it when I first came out. I think I'm gonna link it in the description. But in all this, the backstory of the Pendant just give me chills. Yeah, it sparked something deeper in the last year and a half. It drove me to study a little harder. Moved me deeper into an understanding of gods, the old ways. And so this pendant just doesn't feel like a gift. It feels like evidence. It's exactly what I was screaming out for through those tears. I wrote the Modern Havamal, a collection of poems dedicated to Odin's teachings. Poetic words forged from pain and perseverance. I built How the Heathen, a home for the outcasts, the fighters, and those still clawing their way back. The ones who know rock bottom by name, but they don't let that define them. Today I'm surrounded by people who believe in me. I got a girl who walks beside me, a brotherhood that sharpens me, and a vision that keeps me moving. I'm heading to Miami next week to celebrate my 50th revolution around the sun. My life today is by no means perfect. I miss my kids, but it is what it is. So I'm trying to build a business as a UGC creator, to build a legacy, and the chance to immortalize my love letter to Heathen and to American Heathen. I'm actually thinking of doing a live podcast, like every Monday or so on YouTube. But through all this, most importantly, I have faith. Not the kind that's handed down, the kind that's earned. Grown from scars and setbacks. Faith in my path, faith in myself, and faith in the gods. I know one thing, if you're still breathing, you're not done. If you got something out of your story, do me a favor, hit that like button. Drop a comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Share this with someone who might need to hear it. It really helps the algorithm. There's always another path. There's always another chance. Stay on your path. Stay being who you are. And most importantly, stay fucking savage.